Alright, there wasn't nothing in those 3 traps, no coyotes in here. I did have a house dog that belonged to some houses back over there. He wasn't hurt, and he sure was happy to see me, so we got him, turned back loose, and him and his 2 buddies took back off to the house. But come around the edge of this cotton field and doing a little scouting. Never been back here before. Found this big concrete block here. I love using rocks and that kind of stuff. And there's a fence row that goes down through here. And so we're gonna put a dirt hole set up under that rock, and I'll show you how to set that up. And then we'll ride on around, see what else we can find around this field. The farmer's in here bush hogging all this stuff down, so I don't want to get too far outside this wood line and get one of my traps ran over. All right, so basically all we're gonna do, grab my gloves, we're gonna come back off the center of our pan, be right there. It's called a cookie cutter. They work extremely well in clay and stuff like that, cutting stuff out, but noticing this sandy stuff don't do as good, but all the same, they work. A lot of rocks in this soil. Try to dig it out as quick as I can. Here comes the farmer. I use MB550. All right, we're back in business. I'll do some politicking and shake some hands. Make sure our trap bed's big enough. Apparently them bleachers over there, back in the day, there used to be an arena here that was Charlie Sawyer's Flying S Arena or something like that, the farmer just said. So you learn something new every day. That was back in my day. Back before I was born, probably. So I always dig me a little spot out in the bottom down here before I drive my stake in. And that way, on these MB550s, they're centered in the middle, and that kind of gives the chain and everywhere somewhere to fall and get out of the way. I pulled these traps yesterday off my other lease. Give the coyotes up there a break for just a little while. This will be the 3rd property I've started trapping. Probably the last 5 or 6 weeks, and we're at 16 coyotes, 1 fox, 4 bobcats. I caught 4 or 5, I think 5 coons, and then 4 possums. For all y'all that believe in the heat of possum. So once you get it in there, pull up on it, make sure it sets. And then always make sure your dog is that way, because you don't want your dog to be this way, because if that coyote steps on it, that latch, that dog could help push his paw back up out of the way. And it's got a night latch on it, MB 550s. Just listen for the snap. And then I take me some peat moss, I put in the middle. And then I start bedding my trap. When I first started trapping, I'd go to my hunting lease and I'd try to put out as many traps as I could in one day. And I got real sloppy at bedding my traps and that kind of stuff, so all I was doing was educating the coyotes. Once I slowed everything down, and I didn't try to go up there and say, oh, I'm gonna set 15, 20 traps a day. I'd go up there on 1,200 acres and I'd only set 4 or 5 traps. My numbers started going way up because I was taking my time. I was scouting for sign. I was only setting on sign, and then I was bedding my traps properly. You just kind of touch it, see if you got any movement. And once I get done with that, I used to use an auger, but up there in the hills of Monroe County, north end of Monroe County, it's a lot of clay. I tore that auger up, and it was too hard to drive down in the ground, and I couldn't get it very deep, because you'll see the guys on other YouTube channels, they'll bury it all the way up and get it as deep as they can, and I never could get that deep in that clay with that drill. So this year I went to this, and I'll just wallow me a hole out, and I've been catching a lot of coyotes this year. Seems like since I went to this method, because it's harder for them to get down in there and get the bait out. They really have to work at it, and I wasn't getting that bait hole deep enough using that auger, and they could steal it a lot easier. So got that out of the way. I'm gonna change my gloves, get ready to put the bait in there. I'm gonna use Dunlap Rage for our bait. And then for our lure, we're going to use Dunlap Hostile Predator Gland lure. This right here is the COVID tester. If you can't smell this, you might have COVID. It don't take a whole hell of a lot. Put it in that hole right there. I've seen a lot of guys, they use sticks and leave the sticks down in the hole. And the reason I went away from using sticks is because last year I put a stick with bait down there in the hole, and it was down in there deep. Coyote pulled the stick out and he dropped the stick across the trap like that. So when the trap did go off, that stick was caught in it. So after that, I quit using the sticks. So then I use these 6-inch swabs that I order from F&T Trapping. Put that there. And then I got a little Dunlap Hellfire. It'll probably get every dog from that neighborhood over here, but it don't take much of it. It goes a long ways. Just a little bit of it. Put that there. Now the only thing left to do is cover this trap up. And that's why I have these scissors. Is I'll take pine straw or leaves and I'll cut them up real fine. And you don't want to leave them whole and big, because if you put too much on there and that trap closes up, it's gonna allow for the dog's leg to slide up it. And it's a little time consuming, but I would rather take the time. To cut this stuff up right. Put too much on it, because the animal has been here digging to make that hole. So I'm gonna leave it just like that. Fluff this area back up just a little bit. And there you have it on that set. So we're not far from that last trap we set, probably 150 yards. There's a road that goes down through there to a green patch, and so I'm gonna set a trap up here on this hill, catching them coming up this road. But this time of year, majority of our wind blows out of the north. Once I started paying attention to the wind direction, I started catching a heck of a lot more coyotes. And so you don't want to set the traps on the wrong side of the road and the wind's not carrying the scent across the road. So when you're setting traps, pay attention to which way the wind blows. Think about that. And think about your dog when you drop some food out there in the dang yard, how he slowly works until he finds it, smelling it. And coyotes the same way. They got to work off that nose. And so the wind's gonna be coming from that direction. So we're gonna move this truck out of the way and find us a spot to set this trap. All right, so this is the spot I picked. It's a little further back than what I actually wanted, but the farmer's gonna be in here bush hogging. He's gonna be turning his equipment around. So I don't wanna get this trap ran over. Probably if it's catch the blues, because I see a lot of gravel right here. So clean us a spot out. Good thing about the pine straw is it's easy to go back with and cut it up. We'll take our cookie cutter, put it right there. We're gonna use this as our backing. And that way the coyote, bobcat, fox, whatever can't come in from the back side. Get all that mess out of there. I don't want to miss a coyote. Dig the center spot out so our chain's got somewhere to sit. Drive this. If you're going to get into trapping, you can go out and buy cheap traps, like Duke, stuff like that. They work, they catch. Don't let nobody tell you no different. But there's so many daggone modifications that you got to make to a Duke trap that you don't on an MB550. The chains on the Dukes are garbage. They almost look like the chain that grandma would hang a porch swing with or something like that. The J hooks are real thin. The dang swivels are small. I started out with those, and I had J hooks to bend, missed, coyotes got away, just all kind of stuff. Having to change the chain out after a year, the following year, because they were so bent up and messed up. So I just started buying the MB550s, and they're ready to go right out of the box. You don't have to do anything special to them, and they're ready to go. The other ones, you have to adjust the pan to make sure the pan sits level, and I was just spending too much time fiddling with those traps. And MB550, you can buy it today, boil it, wax it, and set it in the ground, and worry about dyeing it next year. So let me get my peat moss. Probably gonna have to step back in that field and get me some more dirt. Finish bedding this trap. There's our pan. Everybody always asks, are you scared that thing's gonna go off and get you? It will. The daggum Dukes, I set them off way more than I do these MB550s, but I take a lot of kids trapping with me to teach them how to do it. And the 11, 12, 13-year-old kids, a little older, and that's the first thing I make them do, is go ahead and stick their finger in that trap and get it over with, so they see that it don't hurt. And a lot of people think, oh, they break legs and everything else. They don't do all that. They just handcuff you really fast, and they hold you there until somebody sets you free. And so I've seen a lot of arguments on Facebook where people think traps are bad, and I've never had any damage done to an animal. Now if you left it out there for a couple of days, yeah, I'm sure it would do damage. And but running your traps legally like you're supposed to, you won't never won't never have no problem. And I've released, hell, I've caught my own coon dogs before. And turn them loose, and hell, we went on hunting. No limps, no nothing. So you can't believe everything that you see, because there's a lot of people out there that don't like our lifestyle, don't like how we hunt, fish, trap, and so they always trying to paint a bad picture on it. Just like a possum, everybody says a possum eats so many ticks and this and that, but you get down to it and you look at it, if a possum destroys a turkey nest and there goes 8 baby turkeys, I promise you the dang turkey eats thousands more ticks than a dang possum will ever eat. And so just because you read something on Facebook, or somebody's got a cute picture and a little story to go with it, they don't mean it's fact. So that's where my dirt hole is going to be at. Wallow it out. We used Rage on the last one, so we're going to use a different. This is Predator bait by Dunlap. I love Dunlap lures and baits. Good size. And we'll push it deep down in that hole. And if you ever want to catch a possum, all you got to do is step back, look at your trap, and go, yep, this right here will catch a coyote. And that way you can go ahead and jinx it right off the bat and catch you a possum that night and get it over with. So got that bait on this lure. I'm going to use Caven's Gusto. Change gloves. Some people don't wear gloves, some people do. Some people only wear gloves when they're putting the bait and lure in. I use 2 different sets. Just makes sense to me. So then you take that and you stick it down back here. And then I take my lid and put on top of it and push it on down a little bit further. So right now we're squared up. The hole's there, we got our backing. So now all we got to do is move everything back out of the way. And we got to cover this trap up. Now I'm going to cover this one a little bit more than what I did that other one a while ago. And reason being, you don't want everything to look exactly the same on every set. You want to mix it up. You want to do dirt holes, you want to do flats, you want to do scent posts. And let's stick out of there. Let that stick out. Pull this up. And that's it on that one. Pull them leaves up. You can guide a bobcat with a bunch of sticks, everything else. You can't do that with a coyote. So you want to keep it real subtle. Just that. Because he ain't going to want to step on that dang pine cone. It kind of makes you step that way, but that's all it is to it. So I'm gonna run back over here and I'm gonna reset this the trap that we had the house dog in, and then I'm gonna call it a day. I got firewood I got to go deliver, but y'all hang with me. I hope this video turns out good. I'm gonna try to make some more. That way all my friends will leave me alone to make videos. Y'all have a good one.